Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is another video where I basically would like to do three kit review different from these three kits you are looking them now. Mostly I think the more interesting ones are about the 934 and the 993 GT2, and then also this is a gem, it's a special kit that we will study a little bit later. And I would like to do this kind of kit review. That would place it all together on my channel, and because I am looking for some donor kit to be used to do my conversion for the 1974 Porsche 911 3.0 RSR, and it is this body that I recently casted in resin, and this features a no over the body shell because I have a little problem here, so I don't think this is suitable for the sale right now. Right now I have plenty of them, so I sell nearly perfect items, in resin instead of this one that have. This is a minor problem, that I think every model can fix, so it is not a real issue, but I saved these two. You see also the other one have the same issue. These were the first one coming out from the mold, and it always happens that there is something to adjust when you go on producing this type of items. So right now we will take a look of the potential donors of this model. So we'll start with the kit review of this model from Tamiya. This is the Jägermeister 934 Turbo. It was a model that they made, if I'm not wrong, it should be around 2013. Let me see if I found any date over the box. Sometimes they place it. Yeah, 2013 Tamiya. So my memory was not fooling me, and I will remember it because back in the days I made the first version of that RSR, and I didn't have this kit available. So back in the day, the only model that I could use to do that model was just the 935 from Tamiya, and or try to use the Eishi reboxed by Heller 934. But at the time it was not so convincing to me because the body was really too different, and also the details of the Eishi, even if it is becoming a kind of gem and very legendary, I have it. If you see the picture of the reels on my channel about my stash, you see how many Porsches do I have, and I think I have something in that video. You can see something about 50 to 60 kits of Porsche, but I think I have overall around the house nearly 200 models of Porsche in every scale, including the 143, the die-cast one, the stuff. And every time I write something around the 911 series, I like it. I think is the only German sports car that they are able to do up in Germany. It's not like in Italy or like UK or like America. In Germany they can only make 911. When they try to change something from the 911, is a disaster. Neither the BMW, sorry, M3 or the M5 can match something in the way of a 911. 911 is like to own a good watch. Is something that when you have it is something extremely special. This model made by Tamiya in 2013 was the status of the art of the type of model that you can have, and still today it is one of the nicest model ever around. My channel you also will find, if you dig around my videos, I have plenty of them. There is the kit review about the Revel 934 RSR. It's the same subject, even in the same livery, Jägermeister car. Everybody's making this famous car. I think it was Bob Wollek car. I'm not so sure because I don't remember the name of the pilots, despite I made this model now about 12 years ago, so it's a bit time passed since my build. It was interesting that this was a model that I bought used from a collector, and inside there was already the proper color that I think is the best one. You see the H14 from Gunzesangyo acrylic paint, orange. They just named it orange gloss and primary color, and as you probably know, I never use the color coming from the last one that they are making now, which is the name of them. They are synthetic anyway colors that everybody now is using and blah blah blah. I don't like them. I like much more the Gunze stuff. I think the pigments inside this color is extremely fine, and if properly thinnered with the proper product, you can use you can have absolutely stunning finishing. So I think this is absolutely the best color ever to obtain the Jägermeister livery. There is other, I think, two orange in the range of hobby color, but one is much lighter and one is much more going to yellow, so it is absolutely not okay to be used. I tried all of them, you know, and I think the best one ever is this color that I was lucky to find it already inside the car. As you can see, there is no wrapper, there is no plastic. I found later the plastic is inside, so somebody opened it, and Tamiya here basically made a very simple model, you know, giving you basically a 933 completely curbside, as they used to say. As you can see, the A, B and C pillar are completely well taken, you see, so the bulb of the upper side of the roof of the RSR is absolutely well taken. It's the same roof that I used like a base in this newer Master for my car, you know. It is the same roof that you can find in other boxes from Tamiya, and probably the most famous are indeed the Turbo 88 and the 993 GT2 that we are going to look shortly after that, you know. And what to say, is a very simple model, you know. They didn't provide any real detail for the engine. There is just basically mock-up of the engine. That is basically what you can see from underneath and from behind the car, you know. It's absolutely not badly done. And let me say that if you have part of the Fujimi parts included inside the Enthusiast model, you can probably make it complete and make it much more detailed, because the base is anyway really well done. Tamiya just placed it inside. You see also the details about the gearbox. It's very simple, you know, but it gives anyway a very good idea when it is painted, you know. Over that you will place all the transmission arms painted, molded in black here. So it is a very basic, you see this part, it's a very basic transmission item, but it's absolutely well taken and well done. This is, I think, the best idea ever to have a curbside model featuring the nicest shape ever of the 911. You see how pure it is, this line, how nice it is, this line. It's absolutely a must. And in my opinion, as I said in the other video about the Revel kit, this is much betterly done, is much more detailed at the body, finest details like the rubbers in the front, like the line on the extra fenders. Revel fixed this issue with a decal sheet. Is not a bad idea, but is a fake one, you know. In all the models that I made from a Revel, I always engraved it again and made the rivets again, you know. So you have to study extremely carefully the picture of what you are going to do. But I think anyway the overall look of the body is the best ever. As I also said in another video, because you will find plenty of them around the 934 Turbo, the best way ever maybe to make a full detailed model of this car will be probably to mix match both of the kits made by Revel using a Tamiya body, you know, because if indeed the Tamiya kit is leaking in some parts about the details that you can find inside, it's also true that using part of the Revel items you can have absolutely a decent detail of the engine that is completely exposed in the Revel engine, in the Revel kit, sorry, as well as you can probably make a transplant of the part featuring under here at least the basic details for the tank filler and battery parts and so on, so you can place all the details inside using anyway the upper and the lower body shell of the Tamiya kit, you know. It's very nice. As well as another extra strong point in the Tamiya kit is about the tires. Tamiya tires are constantly very well done, you know. It's not a secret that I use this type of tires because the real problem with them is that I don't find any good rubber that you can use to make copies of them in a decent quality like Tamiya is. I mean, I tried to make several of them. I also had from friends that claim that they are able to do the same stuff with rubber, and the quality is absolutely not matching the stuff. After some years they start to leak oil, and after some years they start to become completely crispy and very easy to damage. That's why in my kit I went for a radical solution that some people may like, some people may not like, and it is the one to do a completely solid resin. This is a solid black resin painted in black, featuring already the rim inside. The measure is correct. the pattern is the slick pattern. You don't need any rain pattern. You know, there is the rain pattern we see in another model. In that model there is the rain pattern. Don't ask me why. It is absolutely unrealistic. So I think it's absolutely better to keep a slick tire for that. That's why I made the wheels in this way. It's also the only way to make them a little bit cheaper, you know, because every time that you go on for making copies of them, despite if you want to do some fishing weights like some people do about the internal rims, I prefer to make them completely casted in resin to have a very nice and clean detail, instead of have something in metal that then you have to go mad to try to keep it straight and to polish in the best way, you know. So the wheels is absolutely a must. In Tamiya kit they are always well done. The rims is, I think, probably the best they can do in 1/24 scale in plastic, because this should be something that is a little bit thinner, you know, in reality. And always remember that this part that you can find in the 934 from Tamiya, it was the same part that you will find here in the front of my RSR, you see. That is not a secret that this part is coming from this donor kit, you know, because the light is, I think, is absolutely the nicest. So if you are using this donor kit to complete my model, you also will find then the lamp, the headlamp for the front lights are exactly matching to the one that you will find already on my kit, you know. So it's enough that you just mask them, go on finishing your model, making all the details that you want, then you take away the masking coverage and you will place it back this light over there without any kind of problem. The same would be for the fitting of the windshield. Of course, for resin cast purpose, I had to make it a little bit slightly different in front of them, but just check up, guys, some picture, make some dry fits before you start to do everything and make the proper shape of this one. This should be already quite in shape with that one, but I cannot warranty if it fits 100% perfectly to that part, even because all this part is a little bit thinner when I try to clean them from the original mold, as you can see. And this also features a kind of reinforcement for the roof, because when you go on making a mold, as you can see from under there, it's absolutely not easy, because this part tend to be bended and tend to lose the original shape that you have from the original donor part for the body, you know. So that's it. And going on, there is not so much more in the model, you know. You have the rims, you have the wheels, you have the underside. This is probably the most interesting part, I think, of all the donor part, because if you are using this box as a donor for my one, all this body part you will not use. You will use the under part that you have to refit, because always consider that they made the front suspension in the way that it ends in the front headlight up that way. Instead, in my model is closed, so if you do the same one, you have to trim that side of the part, because in my model here it is a closer part. This is a stable, fully closed resin part, you know. Or you can dig it, but I don't think it's a good idea to dig resin, because you never know, you know, where you start, you never know where you end, and it's very easy to hold. Instead is, I think, just enough to cut this part and remake the fitting from the front suspension shock absorber. So that's it. And simply, of course, taking it away, these two radiators that were just present in the 934 turbo, they were extra radiators for the car, so you don't need them in the 3.0 RSR. That was just an air intake for the, I think, from the brake ducts. As well as, it's interesting that Tamiya featured inside this model very nice and quite nice and clean to work with photo etch set, you know. So this was probably the only reason why this model was a little bit pricey compared to the sister kit made by Revell. You know, Revell never featured any photo etched parts in their kit, as far as I know, unless they are not reboxing items from other companies like Asegava, like Fujimi and so on. But there is usually never the photo etched set inside. Instead, here you have a very nice and clean detail for the rear grille and from the front air intakes, as well from the front radiators. You know, there is some basically details. It just said that they didn't place a little extra set or an extra part of the set featuring the seat buckles for the interior seat, you know. So it's something that you have to fix by yourself, you know. They fix some like the external hook from the bonnet, from the roof, and this is absolutely unuseful, you know. The accelerator pedal that is absolutely not used, and the brake and clutch made with the Porsche logo over. Okay, it's cute, but when the model is closer, you know, being a curbside, you will not see this at all. I think it have to be a little bit better for them if I just place the seat belt buckets, you know, just the seat belts details to make a nice detail over the seat, because the seat you can absolutely see from outside, from the glass transparent part. Instead, in the Tamiya models, usually this is not the original model, the original decal sheet, because the original decal sheet I think I took from another model that I used, so you can see what was inside. So for Tamiya, still the original seat belts have to be made, like in the die-cast review that I say something that is absolutely nasty and unrealistic. You know, that was the original. As you can see, this was the original sheet from Tamiya. It's not belonging to this box, because as I told you, as you can see in the channel, there is many other videos about this model that I did before using another Tamiya. So this was the spare decal sheet from Tamiya, and it was indeed a Tamiya decal sheet. So this was the intention of Tamiya to make that. I had to change it when I took this model, because when I bought it from a private collector, it was missing of the decal. You know, Jägermeister decal is no issues. You know, I have millions of Jägermeister library, and basically I already made the Kramer 934 RSR in the Jägermeister library. So if I really don't want to go for another closed version of the same identical car, I will probably never need to use again a Jägermeister sheet. Instead, I want to do something used in the modern series as the International Grand Prix from Germany, you know. So the last mold that we really need for the conversion is this one about the interior. You know, when I mean that you need something like this for a donor kit, it is just because you have this hub, the internal hub, that is already made in the stripped version. You know, all that hole, they are not marking from the mold, but they are really present on the chassis, on the real 911s, you know. So that is probably something made by the steel machine making the interior hub of the real car, and mostly you have already the stripped down interior of the Porsche without having the rear seat, so you don't have to do basically nothing to fit this part inside that body. So you basically have just to make a proper fitting and have just to show that the way that it can fit inside the model, you know. So it's not this big problem to fit it inside. And mostly also you can have an interior roll cage. Just be careful, because in many they were from different categories. Even if they were racing together, the 934 was in a different category from that other one, and it was incredibly much more powerful than the 3000 not turbo car. So you just basically have to take a look at the picture of the item that you are going to make it again. So the interior roll cage is anyway done. I don't know if it is exactly as the roll cage of the 3.0 RSR. I don't think so. It was slightly different, you know. But the dimensions of the tubes, remember always that back in the days they were not using tubes like today, quite thick. If you look at the tubes present in the GT3 car and the GT2 car, they are much bigger than the one used here. This was just a beginner, just a back in the day roll cage, so everything was coming from that era, and also the safety standard were absolutely not at the level of today cars, of course. So you have to pay a little bit attention of that. The dash is perfect and fits perfectly inside the model, so it's quite easy. It's a kind of plug and play. If you have this model, you really have no other issues to complete that other model there that is made with my resin part, you know. So that's it. I absolutely think this Tamiya is one of their finest model, one of the easiest and finest model they have. They made two boxes of them, one featuring the Jägermeister car and another one featuring the Violent car. You know, I think maybe the Violent was Bob Volek. I honestly don't remember. Just check it out, because it's a long time that I don't build up a 934. And it's basically exactly the same kit. The only difference is that the body and the motor parts, and these orange motor parts, is molded in green instead than orange, and of course that the decal are the Valiant, but the kit is basically the same identical stuff. That's it. As always I say, Tamiya is a step forward in my opinion. Every time that you look at my videos, this is just my opinion, and that's it, guys. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next.